There are two documented instances when members of the Luo tribe looked into Jaramogi Oginga's eyes and told him that they do not agree with him. I don't know whether today they can look into Raila's eyes and tell him they don't agree with him, because these are, you know, we have reached a stage where someone even said if Raila has read that and found it to be okay, then it's okay. The first instance was to do with Central Nyanza. You know, the original Nyanza extended all the way to Mount Elgon, that is Trans Nzoia, and included Kisii and Kericho Bomet. But later Trans Nzoia and Kericho were taken to join the Rift Valley, and Elgon Nyanza was converted, the remaining part of Elgon Nyanza was converted into Western Province. Now it remained two Nyanzas. There was Central Nyanza and South Nyanza. South Nyanza was recently divided into two to form Homa Bay and Migori counties. Those two used to, for those who are slightly old will remember, the two used to be called South Nyanza until the other day. Central Nyanza was what today is called Kisumu and Siaya. So it reached a time when the government wanted to subdivide Central Nyanza into two, into Kisumu and into Siaya. But they wanted to divide it into Kisumu and into Siaya. Jaramogi refused, because the intention then was to weaken Jaramogi. The intention was to make it that people from Kisumu can be told Jaramogi is not one of you, he comes from... You know, South Nyanza was already being taken care of by Tom Mboya, even though Tom Mboya was a city-based politician, but it was believed that he had control of South Nyanza. So they wanted to divide Central Nyanza into two, into Kisumu and Siaya. Jaramogi saw into it. He knew that they were trying to keep him as a Siaya person. He was against it, but the Luos told him, no, we will not agree with you. We need a new district called Siaya and Kisumu. That is the first time they disagreed with him. The second time they disagreed with him publicly and told him to his face was the time when a renowned lawyer called S.M. Otieno, I've forgotten the S, but M stood for Milia, Otieno, died, and he was a very good lawyer. During those days, there were two lawyers that were, people used to say that if you hire Georgiadis or you hire S.M. Otieno, once S.M. Otieno or Georgiadis goes to court, a murderer is released. They knew so well. But you see, there is a Swahili saying, unajua kujenga kwa wengine na kwako hujui kujenga. He drafted so many wills for people, but he never drafted his own will. So his widow, Wamboi Otieno, previously, initially she was called Wamboi Wayaki, then later she became Wamboi Otieno, and lastly she became Wamboi Mwaura. The widow wanted him to be buried at Ngong, Upper Matasia in Ngong. But the clan was called Umirakager. Umirakager wanted him to be buried in Siaya at a place called Nyalgunga. That was 1985. So the case went all the way to Court of Appeal. We did not have a Supreme Court then. And all Luos, to the last person, they were siding with the Umirakager, except a few Luos, one of them being Jaramogi. Jaramogi said the Luos should copy other people and settle elsewhere. That is the second and last time that the Luos faced him and told him, no, we will not agree with you. My parting shot would be, settling at home is not mandatory. You can agree. Look at your grandparents, look at your parents, and look at yourself, and then look up to your grandchildren. The land is shrinking. If you can sit and maybe acquire land elsewhere in settlement scheme, so that one, I don't mind anybody insisting. I don't mind anybody insisting that he or she has to be buried in the ancestral home. After all, a grave is a very small thing. But settling, housing there, where will you farm and whatever. You can even settle elsewhere, buy land elsewhere, or even decide to live a life without land. But if you say that you be buried in your ancestral land, me, I have no problem with that. Buried in ancestral land, there's no problem. But settling, because if you look at your grandfather's land and you look at your grandchildren's land, it is shrinking. People should look into that. Viewers, those are the two occasions when Luos looked into Jaramogi into his eyes and disagreed with him, and they won.